Hi. So I've just made myself some tea and I was going to write a post about something that's been on my mind, but I decided to make a video. And so I just want to share some thoughts that have been on my mind a lot. And there's just so much opportunity right now. And it is such a intense time right now. There's a lot of uncertainty for everyone. But there is also a lot of opportunity. And so I am wanting to share some perspectives and thoughts about the planetary energies right now. And I think that this may be something that is inspiring. And so, yeah, I just keep wanting to share it. So I'm going to share it. So, back in January of 2020, on January 12th, we had a conjunction between Pluto and Saturn. And there are two types of conjunctions. One is a balsamic conjunction, which means it's a completion of a cycle between the two planetary energies. And one is a new phase conjunction, which is when the faster moving planet moves over, after making the balsamic conjunction, it moves over the slower moving planet and it creates a new cycle with a new phase conjunction. So, you might hear my cat because my cat loves to be outside, but it's dark and I think she's in for the night. She might actually ask to go outside, but I'm probably gonna just call it a night. But anyways, so she might meow. I'm sorry if hopefully it won't become distracting, but anyways, so the Saturn-Pluto cycle was very significant because all of the planets have south nodes, and the south node represents energy that is karmic. So it's when we are talking about south nodes of the planets or south nodes of the moon, for example, which most people are familiar with, this is a time frame where we are shedding a karmic energies from that specific planet. So this is happening personally and collectively. So we've been doing that with Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter, which have been in Capricorn. And this is really significant because this has been giving us opportunities to shed old karmic cycles, not only personally, but also collectively, but also on a soul level, as well as ancestral and within our family lines. So this is why there's been some pretty instability and there's been some instability. We probably all relate to that for sure. I also want to share that whenever Pluto and Saturn come together, there is often, if not always, some kind of pandemic that happens. So the last one that we had where Pluto and Saturn conjuncted was the AIDS virus or HIV virus, and before that the Spanish flu. And so this happens in a cyclical nature. It is a natural cycle. So one of the things that this brings to my mind is that ultimately Saturn and Capricorn, where these planetary energies are in the skies in Capricorn, right? This is actually an earth sign. And so this really, Capricorn has to do with the structure of our bodies. It has to do with, on an anatomy level, it's our bones, it's our teeth, it's our skin. And it is the parts of our bodies that actually create a protective barrier. And, one of the things about even just the cellular makeup, is there is a protective barrier to the cells. And so when we have a high functioning immune system, we have a really good protective barrier. But if we have not had practices that are really taking care of the body, the immune system can become lower and there's less of a protective barrier. And so this is where viruses and bacteria, things can, actually enter our bodies and become a stress to our bodies. So, one thing to just know is that this is a cycle that happens with Pluto and Saturn, and it's a natural cycle. So it's not necessarily something that we could stop. And, Jupiter has been in Capricorn as well, and Jupiter is related to natural law and the cycles of nature. So ultimately, one of the things that I've really been thinking about is that one of the opportunities of this time has been to really take responsibility for our choices. So the reason I say that is because Saturn is a planetary energy that is related to karma. And karma is not, when I say karma, I am not meaning judgment. I am just meaning that when we make choices over and over again, there is a result. And this is how we achieve our goals. This is why Saturn and Capricorn can really be about the structure of our body, the structure of our consciousness, the routines and the parameters we create in our lives so that we can meet our goals. This is, discipline. So when we have Saturn transits and or we have planets in Capricorn, it can really be having our focus be on, where are we funneling our energy and where are we creating boundaries so that, we can really apply our energy to get the results we want. So, this has been a really big opportunity to become more aware of the choices that we make and really where it is that we are taking responsibility for our lives and taking responsibility for the reality that we want to create. And so because Pluto is in this sign of Capricorn with Jupiter and Saturn, it gives us the opportunity to really recognize where we have been unconscious in being responsible for the choices we make in our lives and the karma that we create in our lives. So this gives us an opportunity to really, really own our power, because our power is in being self-responsible. So we have transiting Uranus and Taurus as well. And this, with these energies in Capricorn, is really significant because wherever Uranus is, whatever sign it's in, it's actually asking us to up-level and upgrade that energy in our lives. So Taurus is all about self-reliance. It's about, the bottom line of Taurus is our bodies being our greatest resource. And what do our bodies need to survive? We know we need food, water, shelter, and we also need to be in our bodies, really being aware of what our bodies are needing. Rest, sleep, that's another thing our bodies need, right? And so Uranus moving through Taurus is actually having us be aware of our body's needs. And it's also having us be aware of our value system. So what is it that we really value? At the end of the day, what is really actually important? Not only for our survival, but our thrival. You know, what makes us thrive? And so Uranus in Taurus is also contributing an energy where we are being asked to be self-reliant, and it's going along with this self-responsibility piece. So when we take responsibility for our lives and for our needs, then we are able to meet our needs. And we are not dependent on others in an unhealthy way to meet our needs. So this helps us be self-empowered. And so everything that we're doing right now, all of the choices that we're making, it's creating a new karmic path for us. And this is so important to know because, you know, we just shed so much of our karmic past. And this means that the more that we have done that, the more we've created space for new opportunities, new realities. So one of the things about Saturn energy is it is an energy that is related to restriction and constriction, and it's also related to depression. So, you know, the function of depression is actually to have our energy move inward, to self-reflect and really understand what it is we are wanting to create in the world. And so you know, with this lockdown, which is very much Saturn energy, we're restricted right now. We've been feeling constricted, and this gives us an opportunity to really reflect on what kind of reality we want to create. So one of the things I love about Saturn too is that Saturn is about a 29-year cycle, and it moves in 7-year increments, right? And around our chart. And so you'll notice when you track your Saturn cycles that what you've been putting your energy into, where you've been putting your focus, how you've been disciplining yourselves and working towards your goals, there will be tangible rewards. There will be something that is manifested on the earth plane. And one of the ways I think of Saturn is that, as well as Capricorn, is that like it's the earth plane. It's related to mountain. It's related to rocks. You know, rocks actually are minerals that are just like spinning and coming together and creating this heavy substance, this rock, you know. And so this is what we do with our choices. We make choices over and over again, and there are results from those choices. So one of the biggest takeaways I feel like around what I was wanting to share is that the energies right now are creating space for us to create the reality that we desire. This is all really happening for us. This is so that we can become self-empowered by being self-reliant, by taking responsibility for our lives and becoming as self-reliant as we can, so that we can create the reality that suits us personally, so that we can be so in touch and own our reality and own what we're attracting in our lives and own our power. to create. And so this is happening really for us to create the reality that we want. But it does require taking responsibility for our lives, taking responsibility for the things we didn't know about ourselves, and making choices to eliminate what doesn't align with what we want. And this is part of the Saturnian energy. When we apply Saturnian energy, we actually eliminate the things that don't align with the life we want and the reality that we want. It isn't necessarily a judgment. It isn't necessarily good or bad. It's just that there are people, places, things that align with what we desire and that make us feel great, that make us feel super excited and super inspired to create in our lives. And those are the things that we all need to align with now. And, you know, there's a lot of shadow material coming up on an individual level and on a level with the structure of our societies, governments. But it's really important not to go into those negative energies that begin to debilitate your energy, but you know, it's good to be aware, and I certainly don't condone denial. It's important to look at what all the different possibilities of what's going on, not only individual, but also, you know, in our community, in our collective, and, you know, in society, but to also be sure that what we are finding out is productive for us, and it helps us to create a more conscious reality and more responsible reality. So once again, I just want to reiterate, because I don't know if I got to it, but what we're doing now, the choices we're making, they really matter. They matter a lot, because we have all really started a new cycle. And I really believe, because these planetary energies conjuncted their south nodes and formed new conjunctions, this is giving us a completely new path for our soul. And this may not only affect the next 30 plus years of our lives and the results that will come to fruition at the end of those 30 years, but this will actually create a trajectory for our next lifetimes. You know, if you believe in reincarnation, you know, we just pick up where we left off. So what we do now matters. It really matters a lot. And I hope that that's something that can be really inspiring for you, because what you want and what your dreams are, they matter. Who you are matters. And so right now it's about really owning who you are, because who you are is a contribution to society. And so it is important to align with, you know, what you value, what you really want, and believe it can happen, because it can. The energy's there. It's for all of us. And I just want to encourage you to be aware that the choices you're making right now, even when it's challenging, even when it means letting go of old relationships, old careers, things that just are falling apart right now, it's okay, because it's creating space for a new reality. So I encourage you to align with the energies that where you feel loved, where you love, where you feel happy and excited, and may we all create a really wonderful reality in this world for ourselves and for each other.